Welcome, 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 everybody. Hello, hello. Go ahead and type in the chat, just making sure everyone's messaging to everyone if you want to, making sure the chat is available and accessible for everybody coming in from all over the world for today's RTT tools demonstration. Hello, hello. Where in the world is everybody coming in from? I feel like chat may not be activated yet. There we go. Hey, I'm also in Texas. What's up, Darcy? Ooh, India is on the line. North Carolina, Sacramento, England, San Francisco, London, Birmingham, Sweden, Tampa. Oh my gosh, Peru. Another India. Incredible. Poland, Lebanon, South Africa, Pakistan, Canada, Dubai, Kosovo, Sweden, Toronto, Ecuador, Colombia, Canada, Northern Ireland, Italy, Dubai, Finland, Quebec, Little Rock, LA, New England, South Africa. SoCal, Germany, Colorado, USA. Welcome, welcome. Wow. Oh my gosh, Mumbai is coming in. Fort Worth, Iran, Pennsylvania, Dubai. This is incredible. What an international crowd, everybody. Well, thanks for coming to the webinar today. We're super excited about this. You know, we have this incredible school that teaches people how to become rapid transformational therapists. And we've seen so many people from so many different careers around the world step into RTT. And RTT has been really in design for about 35 years since Marisa Peer, the creator and founder of RTT, started working with clients all those years ago. If you haven't heard the stories, maybe I'll get into them later in the Q&A if you want to hear more about it. But you can always go and Google like who is Marisa Peer, and you'll find some really incredible videos explaining her background of how she started in the fitness industry, found out, people's thinking and minds needed more help than their bodies did. And once you got there, the body was a lot easier to work with. So that's how it all began, asking the question, could someone go to a therapy session, go to a hypnotherapy session, and receive radical permanent transformation in less than 2 hours? And over years and years of developing the tools that you're about to see, we've made it systemized for thousands of people to be able to successfully do that again and again and again. As a matter of fact, it's so successful that some of the things that I'm working on as the CEO of the company is helping our graduates really bolster their practice. Because if you only see someone one, two, or three times, you need other skill sets to be able to support them for the year because they might really have massive, like I've had sessions where it radically transformed my life. In 70 minutes was my most recent session with Marissa, and my whole life has been changed forever. So if that sounds something amazing, if that sounds amazing to you, go ahead and type in the chat real quick that you are very open to not just personal transformation yourself in a very rapid amount of time, maybe even on this webinar today, because we're going to bring you through an incredible gratitude hypnosis. And for those of you that have done any research on gratitude, it's the most powerful emotion that we have access to. It's one of the most powerful things that we can activate in ourselves. No matter what your background is, no matter what circumstances you face, if you can find gratitude in your life, you can find joy, you can find fulfillment, you can find success, and whatever that means to you. I see a lot of people in the chat getting real excited. So that's amazing. For those of you that are in the chat that are RTT therapists, or you've had RTT sessions and had an incredible experience either in the school or you've had an incredible experience in RTT session, go ahead and type in the chat that you've had an amazing experience with us as a school or with an RTT practitioner somewhere in the world where you've really, maybe even you've tuned into YouTube and you've seen my session or someone's session and you noticed a profound shift in yourself or in the people that you're watching. A lot of gratitude. Got Salt Lake City in the house, lots of people commenting. Amazing. So, before we get into the tools today, before we look at that, most people think when we go through these tools, there's three things they always say are maybe caveats for them. Number one, they don't know how they can build a successful business as an RTT therapist. And so a lot of my time and a lot of the team's time is focused on ensuring that you get the most amount of knowledge and tools available to be able to build your own successful business. And we've had people all the way from house cleaners that have become successful RTT therapists. We've got lots of people in the company that work part-time in a career and part-time as a therapist so that they can have that impact and meaning in the world. And they have careers all over the world, people doing part-time therapy. Another one is that it seems really complex. It seems like a lot to learn. And that's why we designed the school in such a way, and you're going to experience tutors live today showing you exactly what it's like to have a mini school session. We have these things called virtual classrooms in our programs that have you go and practice these tools one by one over the course of 6 months to a year, depending on how fast you get through the program. So you can really learn these tools very well. And we've simplified it so much so that anyone, even a house cleaner, even a lawyer, anyone can learn how to do this very well. The only ingredient we say that is required is you care about people and you want to help people. If you have those two things, this system can be very effective for you. So I want you to imagine when we're going through this presentation, when Sarah and Kat and Michelle are guiding you through all the tools and the experience, what it would be like to have a future as a very impactful, incredible personal transformation for yourself, but being able to help others using these tools. And you'll probably see glimpses of what a potential incredible future would be like for you when you learn about a tool. So, for an example, maybe when you hear about upgrading the child and you hear about that tool and you think about how you might use that, you'll think about people in your life or yourself as you go through that experience, how much it might transform you. Or when you're in the hypnosis, maybe you're hearing Sarah or Kat or Michelle and you're hearing them guide you, and you start to hear your own voice and what it would sound like for you to have that level of confidence and competence in delivering these experiences for others, maybe to a wide audience like this, or maybe on one-on-one. So just start thinking about what that beautiful future could look like for you. And finally, I wonder what tool is going to be the most interesting or most surprising for you. And as we go through the session, maybe type that in the chat. If you have a really interesting intuition about a particular tool being able to help you or someone that you know, type it in the chat, or I'm going to be reading this the whole time. So I'm really excited to see all of your feedback. Without any further ado, I'm going to pass it over to the team, the wonderful Sarah Sheldon, Kat, and Michelle. Sarah, are you ready to go?
We are ready to go, Skip. Thank you. Yeah, a really great introduction to that. And I was going to explain a little bit about the whole technique, but I think what I'll do, because Skip's done such a lovely introduction, is I'm just going to dive straight in. And we're going to take turns going through the tools. I like Skip's idea of you writing in the chat which is your favourite tool. So the game is on, girls. We're all going to be introducing our tool, and we're going to see which one they like best. So we need to pull out our best. So, Skip, if you wouldn't mind just sharing our slides for us. And first of all, we've got this circle, which we call our process map. This really is our guide. And when all the students are learning, they use this process map really carefully. Some of them just even put it up by their bedside, really get to grips with memorizing it, because this is really our map through the whole journey of a session. Now, the beautiful thing about RTT is it's really very adaptable. So it's not like we just take this and we just use this whenever, all the same every single time. It's always adapted to what the client needs and the things that come up, what's relevant, and obviously with knowledge as a client, what you think knowledge as a therapist, what you think the client is actually really going to need from you. So it's in 4 different sections. It's called the 4 eyes, nice and easy to remember. So our 4 eyes, oh, there we go, we're zooming in, we can see it a bit more clearly. That's great, thank you, Skip. So we've got the investigate stage. So that's when we're finding out, we're gathering information all about the issue, first of all, that's going to help us to be able to make those great transformational changes. And then in our green section, we have the interpret phase. So that's when we've gathered the information, and then we're going to start to try and make sense of the information that we gathered and help the client to understand what's been going on, what's the root cause of what's been going on in their life. And when they understand that, then we can start to do some other work to interrupt those thoughts, those patterns of beliefs and thinking that's been going on for so long. And once we can interrupt them, then we can start to finally make that all important change. So we've got our last section here in the purple, which is our install. So although you can see that there's lots of these circles, there's lots of these tools, it all makes sense and it flows really beautifully around the process, around the session and the technique as we go through. Some of our tools are what we call mandatory, so that they're ones that you would use every single time. And then we've got other tools which, like I said before, we would interchange according to what comes up and what we need to use. So we've got about 30 minutes and we were going to take you round a beautiful section of the tool. So I'm going to start with setting the client up for success. You can see that one at the top there. Oops. So just that one, with the cup. Like, woohoo, we're set up for success. We want to make sure that the client's in the best place that they can possibly be for the session. We want them to understand what hypnosis is. A lot of people have misconceptions about hypnosis. They can feel a little bit afraid about hypnosis because they might have seen it on the TV. They've seen people be a little bit controlled, or some sort of stage hypnosis, which isn't really hypnotherapy at all. It's quite a long way away from how we use hypnosis. So we want them to understand it's really safe, there's nothing going to happen to them that's going to be outside of their control, and that they're very likely to be suggestible. People's minds are very adaptable, they're easily open to suggestion. That doesn't mean they're gullible, it just means that they're able to take on board new ideas very, very easily. That's the neuroplasticity, the science side of what we do there. So we do all of that part at the beginning. We give them a little test to see that they can see hypnosis coming upon them. And when we've done all of that, we know that they're in a good place and we can start our session fully. So we move into the intake, a really, really super important part of the session, because in the intake, we're doing lots of different things. We're doing the information gathering, all about the issue that the client has had. So we'll be looking at how long the issue has been there, how it appears in the client's life, what's gone on in the client's background, in their history, in their childhood, what's happened to them, because all these things are like little bits of the jigsaw puzzle that's going to help us build this big picture about what's going on. And in the intake, for our students, we teach them about really good communication skills, how to build rapport with a client, how to ask the right kind of questions, so nice open-ended questions, so that they're able to gather that information really effectively. And it's also really important that the client feels really safe with you. You're not there for very long with the client, so it's really important that you build up rapport with them nice and quickly and easily. You put them at ease. If they don't feel at ease in your presence, then they're not going to be able to relax into the session and you're not going to get the most out of it for them. So lots and lots of learning that we do, and we take the students through when we're running our virtual classrooms, how to build communication, how to build rapport, how to ask the right kinds of questions, how to listen out for language patterns as well. That's a really important aspect. So how the client speaks about their issue, and language plays a big part, and it's very descriptive. So Marisa teaches us about what she calls ear prick up moments. So it might be that suddenly something pops out that the client says and you think, that's something that's a bit unusual, something I want to bear in mind, because that might be something that links to a belief or something that's going to come up later on. So we're teaching the students about how to listen out for these ear prick up moments. All right, and then in that intake, the final thing that is really important is, what does the client want? We're always working with the client's needs. We don't have an agenda for them. We want it to be their agenda. We want it to be their needs, their wants, what the vision of their life is going to look like when they're not living with this problem anymore. And that gives us lots of information, again, that we will be using later on in the session. So once we've done all that data gathering, information gathering, rapport building and everything else, we can then start to begin the hypnosis part of the session. So I'm going to pass on to Kat, and she's going to tell you all about the induction.
Yes, induction. So it's the tool that really helps us guide the client into this relaxed state of mind. And I always say to my clients, you know, hypnosis is just a fancy word. Like Sarah said before, people have these different perceptions of what hypnosis actually is. But in reality, it's a very, very natural state that we are all in every day, many times throughout the day. It's just that we are probably not aware of it. But whenever you're very relaxed, whenever you're reading a book, or maybe you're just very engrossed into a movie, you are in that relaxed state. What we're doing with induction is we are going there on purpose. But because it's very natural, it's very actually easy. Yeah. So it's really not rocket science once you get down to it. Of course, everybody's a bit nervous before they do it the first couple of times, but because the point of our course and how it's structured is always based on practice, we make sure that you practice so that you get very comfortable with doing that. In the course, you will learn a 5-minute induction. So actually, you are able to put the client into that very relaxed state in 5 minutes. That's the induction that Marisa uses. Really, what happens with the induction is that the chatter of the conscious mind, the analytical, rational mind gets a bit quieter, and you're actually creating a space where you're giving the voice to the subconscious mind. And Michelle is going to tell us a little bit more about how to make sure that clients are, let's say, deeper in that relaxed state.
Perfect. Thank you. So yes, once we have done the induction, and during induction, we also do two very important things with the client. We do suggestibility tests because we want the client to believe in the power of their subconscious mind. So we do these tests that they are very simple. Like imagine you just have a lemon and you pour that lemon juice into your mouth, and how the mind reacts, how the body reacts to that. Or imagine you have two powerful magnets, because what we want to show the client's mind is that they have this ability to receive suggestions, right? The more suggestible you are, the better you will respond in hypnosis. So the idea there is, if my mind can believe something as simple as this, imagine what it can do with the things that really matter, right? So we do this suggestibility tests, and we also do some deepening techniques, because as Kat was saying, we really want to quiet the conscious mind, and we want the subconscious mind to arise. We want it to be the one on top, let's say, in that moment, so we can have a conversation during the session, not with the conscious mind of the client, but with the subconscious mind of the client, that is the emotional mind. So we have some deepening techniques like clicking the fingers, for example. We click the fingers and then the mind goes deeper. Saying go deeper is another deepening technique, right? And we have two other techniques there, but we want the subconscious mind to arise and them to really believe in their ability to receive, to be receptive to new beliefs, to new concepts. We go with Sarah now.
All right. Thank you, Michelle. Now, I'm going to talk about a tool that you are going to love. I'm just giving you a bit of suggestibility there. You are going to love this tool. I love using this tool because this is where you're really getting into the session. This is the nitty-gritty part, and it gets really exciting and interesting, because this is called the detective work, and also daisy chaining, when you're linking things together. So the detective work involves us taking the client back to the root cause of the issue and helping them understand how that came into their life. And like Michelle just said, when she was talking about the deepeners, we're working in hypnosis with the subconscious part of the mind. That's really, really important, because people can understand their problems from a conscious point of view. They can read all the books about, losing weight, shedding weight. They can try a diet. They can do all of that. But they can keep failing in that. They find it very difficult because they're actually just trying to apply the conscious part of their brain. But the problem is, because these issues are deep-rooted, because they lie in the subconscious, like Michelle said, the emotional parts of the mind, then until we access those things, the client can't really understand and get to the bottom of what's behind, what's driving that behavior. And so it's really, really great when we get to do this detective work because, like I say, we don't know what's going to come up. So you can be in your intake, chatting with your client, going through all this stuff, and they're talking very matter of fact about their life. Suddenly you've taken them into hypnosis, you're going to a scene and a place, a time, all to do with how they got the issue. And their subconscious mind has got like an amazing filing cabinet, I always call it, like inside, it rifles through, bingo, here's that memory. And that can be something that for the client, maybe they're 50 years old, they haven't thought about this since they were like 5 when it happened. But subconsciously it's stored there, and emotionally it's stored there. So the emotions of that 5-year-old child are still very much locked into that. There's a rule of the mind that says in a battle of logic, or logic versus emotions, emotions will always win. So our emotional mind, our subconscious emotional mind, will always override the logical mind, and that's why we can't get past things. So we never know what's going to come up when we do this detective work. It could be a scene about this, that, and the other. Sometimes the clients have a little inkling about it. Sometimes it's just they'll come out after the session, they'll go, wow, I never thought of that. Never thought of that in a million years. And it's the emotions come up because there we go. Those stored emotions from that 5-year-old child, suddenly they're there. The client can be in tears because they're reliving that event, and it's very powerful. So we get to the bottom of it very, very quickly and very well in RTT, which is very unlike most techniques. So once we've got to the bottom of this, when we've done the detective work, we have to start to put it all together. But before we put it together, there's another technique, and actually this is beautiful, and Kat's going to show you this with Michelle. She'll guide you through it. It's called Child in the Room, and sometimes we use this as a visualization. So over to you, Kat, with that one.
Oh, thanks. So yes, what's great about RTT is that you will learn different techniques and different tools to help different types of clients. Maybe for some clients, what Sarah just explained won't work, especially not in the first session. So there are different tools to help us with that. And one of those tools, again, investigative tool, is called Child in the Room. And Child in the Room is actually a guided visualization. And so its structure really helps the client to get in touch with their emotions and feelings from the childhood. And with that, we can definitely explore what lies beneath that presenting problem that's holding them back today. But like Sarah said, we're not just going to talk you through things, we're also going to demonstrate a few tools, and this is one of them that I will now demonstrate with Michelle, who's going to be my client for this demonstration. Now, just so you know, this is just a demonstration. We are going to start as if Michelle was already in hypnosis, and also we're going to stop at one point. It might seem a little bit abruptly, but it's just because this is just an exercise. Michelle is going to role play this, and this is not the real situation, okay? Just for you to see how the tool works. So Michelle is very relaxed. And Michelle, just right now, I will ask you to imagine that you're being pulled, you're being drawn to your childhood home, where you lived as a child from the ages between 2 and 8. And Michelle, if there were many homes where you lived as a child, your subconscious mind will pick the right one. And you can see yourself in front of that childhood home. And Michelle, you're being pulled further into the home in front of the door of the room where you slept as a child. And you see yourself in front of that door. And Michelle, on the other side of this door, in this room where you slept as a child, is a little girl, which is you as a child, Michelle. And that little girl knows that whoever is to walk through that door is her as an adult, is you today, Michelle. And there is an absolute affinity between you two. So, Michelle, I want you to see yourself putting your hand on the door handle, slowly opening the door now, stepping into this room where you slept as a child, and immediately you can feel this room as it was when you were a child. You can see how it looks like, the furniture that was there, the smell, the colors. And you also see yourself as a child who is now looking at you, welcoming you. You go to her and you take her into your lap, Michelle. And there is an absolute affinity, absolute understanding, absolute respect, connection between you two. And whatever you ask her, the answer comes immediately. And it's absolutely honest and truthful. So, Michelle, how old is this little girl?
8 years old.
She's 8 years old, okay. And I want you to ask this little girl, Michelle, is she happy?
No.
No, okay. And Michelle, what is it that makes this little girl not happy?
Her parents fight all the time.
Okay, okay. And how does that make her feel, Michelle?
Sad.
Sad. Yeah, of course. And she feels sad because
they don't even see her.
they don't even see her. Okay. And if their own parents don't even see her, that must mean that
No one will ever see her, that she doesn't matter.
yeah. And how does that make her feel, Michelle?
Invisible.
Okay. You're doing really, really well. And with that, we're just gonna stop there. Like I said, this was just an exercise. Michelle can open her eyes, coming back to the room. Thank you so much. I hope that you enjoy that. Child in the Room is an incredible tool, as you could see, and is really, really powerful with getting closer to those feelings. All right, and over to you, Sarah, I believe.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Or
thank
is
you,
it,
Lucy. That was a
or
really
is it Michelle, actually?
That's all right. I'm just going to interject. That was a really nice, clear demo. Well done. Really nice. So that ends our investigate stage, and then we move on to our second eye, the interpret, where we start to make sense of all of these. So, Michelle, would you like to take it away with left hand, right hand?
Yes, of course. So we always come to left hand, right hand once we have investigated in the scenes and or in Child in the Room. And sometimes we have another tool also, but usually we will come from the scenes and or Child in the Room to left hand, right hand. And the idea of left hand, right hand is to help the client connect the past with the present. We give the client back in the left hand the scenes from the past that they investigated in the detective work, with the feelings, with the beliefs they formed. And the client can see then how these scenes from the past connect with the presenting issue they have today, right? It's the past and the present. They make the connection. And this is very important. If you have seen Marisa, maybe you've seen how she says, I could give you the answer of how these scenes have led you to be dealing in the present with this. But I want you to tell me, because the client is the one that knows better. We get just like a glimpse of their life, but they have the complete picture. So we want them to find that root cause of the main issue by realizing what they formed in the past. So yeah, that's left hand, right hand, basically. Then we go with Sarah.
Great. Okay. So another great tool that everybody who is a therapist really enjoys using this tool, because it just is such a nice, simple tool, but it gives us so much clarity about the issue as well. So as well as all that lovely work that we've previously done, even if we want to just help make that distinction about what's going on in the client's mind, we always get out our RFPI, role, function, purpose, intention. It's a long name, but we want to work out and uncover why a physical or an emotional issue came into the life and what it's trying to do for them. Because we always work on the basis of like, well, something has arrived in our life. It wasn't always there. We didn't always have anxiety. It came in at a certain point. And usually when an issue has come in, it's there initially to try and perform some role for us. We don't know what that is. So we can help the client again using the power of the subconscious to imagine that they're going inside them and they can find out what that part is trying to do. And once they found out what the part's trying to do, then they've got the power to be able to enable that part to go, or maybe sometimes give it a different role that's going to be something much more helpful for them. So for example, I had a client recently who had a huge fear of driving on the motorway. And the fear was there to protect her. She'd been with her sister when she was a child. They'd been involved in a nasty car accident. So of course, what her clever mind had done is said, don't go there again. Don't do that. Don't put yourself in that situation. So the part was saying, no, I want to protect you. I want to keep you off the motorway and keep you safe. And it's a very primal kind of safety response that goes back to the days when we had to run away from the tiger and protect ourselves. And the body goes a little bit hyper and still tries to do that in the same way. So the RFPI tool is so powerful in enabling that to be uncovered. So ending the interrupt phase then and moving into our interrupt phase. So sorry, I said the wrong thing. I said interrupt when I said we've finished the interpret phase and we're moving into interrupt. So Kat's going to take you through It's Not Me.
Yes, so the interrupt phase. And we are now in the phase. So first of all, like we've discussed now, we've explored what lies beneath the issue. And then the client gained that aha moment, that insight of, oh, that's what's running the issue. And now it's time to interrupt, to release, to let go, to reprogram, to reframe. And that's the main idea of the interrupt stage and its tools. So it's not me. It's sort of the first tool that we would use in this stage. And it's not me is such a powerful technique, because what we do is we go back to the scenes that we've explored before, and we, with the client, we interrupt them because that is no longer who the client is. As if there was sort of a connection, a cord between the past and the client today. What we're doing with the interrupt stage, and it's not me, is we are cutting that cord, right? Because what tends to happen so often with this issue is that the client starts to identify with them. They think they are that person, but that's no longer the case. They are not that little child. Right now, they are an adult, and they have actually changed so much in a lot of different areas already. So we are kind of empowering the client and giving them that power back. We are cutting the emotional attachment to these past scenes, and therefore enabling the client to move forward in their life. A really, really powerful technique. That's It's Not Me. And then we are moving to the next interruption tool.
Yeah, with me. So yes, so upgrading the child. We have, under upgrading the child, we have 5 optional tools, interruption tools. And they are like pick and choose depending on what your client needs. So we've done the investigation, the interpretation part. And by then we already realized as a therapist, what could benefit my client. So we have these 5 interruption tools that can really help the child to be upgraded in a way. So with those tools, we show the child that they don't live in the past anymore, that now this is their life as an adult. So we have upgrading the child, we have becoming the loving parent, right? They become their own loving parents for that child. We have the praise you've always wanted. We have merging the child. We merge the upgraded child, the one that has healed. And we have also dialogue with the hurter, where we allow the client to have a conversation with somebody from the past, maybe to find some closure, maybe to find some forgiveness, maybe to find also understanding. But the key thing about this tool is with the dialogue is that they get to have a voice when they didn't have one as a child, and they can get their power back. So
yes.
yeah,
So our little Michelle, who was the child in the room earlier, who never felt heard and never really felt listened to, well, when I would be working with her as my client, I would know that she really needs to build herself back up. She never had that validation. So I might choose to use one of the tools, such as the praise you always wanted. So Michelle, I just invite you to put your arms around yourself right now. And that little girl that was in that room that felt so sad, that felt just unheard, that felt she didn't matter. Just hugging her now. Really just hug yourself and have that sense that you are here now and you're able to tell yourself those things that you didn't hear when you were that little girl. And this is your moment, Michelle, to give yourself that praise you wanted to hear. You are seen, Michelle. You are visible. And you can care for yourself. And Michelle, you can say out loud, I matter.
I matter.
I'm a great little girl.
I'm a great little girl.
What else, Michelle, would you have liked to have heard when you were that little girl?
You are valuable. You are brilliant. You are lovable. You deserve to have attention and to be cared for. You are seen. You are smart. You are a good girl. You are a good daughter.
Beautiful. So just let those words sink right the way into your body now. Just allow them in, those beautiful, powerful, affirming words. Lovely. So you can see just by that short little demo there how powerful it is for the client to be able to do that. When they needed it as a child, they never had it, but this is their chance. And when children have been brought up in situations where they haven't been heard, they haven't been well looked after for one reason or another, tools like the loving parent and the praise you always wanted really do so much work to undoing some of that from the childhood. So thank you for that, Michelle. We're going to move on quite quickly now because we've got lots to get through in this session. So I'm going to talk to you about the reframe next. Now, the reframe is a great little ender of when we've interrupted those beliefs, and we're going to take the client through into the next exciting part when we start to install the new beliefs. But before we get to reprogramming the mind with new beliefs, we want to make sure everything's just clear. So I kind of feel like it's like we're pulling out all the old weeds, any old dead weeds that are left in the soil there of the client's mind, pulling those out, making it all smooth, clearing the way to plant the new wonderful seeds that they're going to latch onto. And in the reframe, we're just reminding them that they have had these beliefs, but their beliefs are theirs. They can choose to change these beliefs, and that's what they are doing now. And we're just helping to shatter anything that's left at all. Sometimes Marisa puts in a transformation, and we teach the students that it's like water that's falling down over you from the shower, and it goes down through the plug hole where you can't get it back. You couldn't ever possibly get it back. It's gone. And that's what those old beliefs are like to the client now. So the reframe is super powerful. Then we lead into the really, really wonderful part, the life-changing part for the client. Like I say, working with neuroplasticity, the idea that we can reprogram the mind, we can create new neural pathways in the mind to accept new beliefs. So we move on to the transformation, and we teach the students how to put together a very personalized transformation for the client, which they will listen to for 21 days to help embed all those new beliefs. And everything's just geared around what the client wants, what's come up in the session, what's life going to look like for them going forward now. It's really exciting when the client suddenly realizes that their life can be transformed. It can be different. Stuff that they've lived with all their life, 40, 50, 60 years, can be undone, and new possibilities are open. So the transformation is super, super powerful. And then just leading on from that, 2 more tools just to finish things off. So Kat, over to you.
Yes, cell command therapy is our next tool. What a powerful tool. So cell command therapy, we're using this tool for physical issues. And really the cell command therapy is based on the idea that every cell in your body has an intelligence of its own, and that the mind affects your body and emotional state. So the mind can actually influence, direct the behavior of the cells. And in the cell command therapy, we are commanding the cells, or actually training the client to command the cells in their body the way it's helpful for the client. And actually, there is a fantastic, fantastic book on this issue that goes much deeper into the science behind it and why this is actually so powerful and why it works. It was written by Bruce Lipton, and it's called The Biology of Belief. I know that Marisa loves this book as well and recommends it a lot. So Bruce Lipton and Biology of Belief is the title of the book. Really, really powerful stuff. All right, and Healing Vortex for the end.
Very good. So for the healing vortex is one of the tools that is also optional, but and sometimes it can be mixed with command cell therapy. But the healing vortex is just this imaginary vortex of energy that is hovering above the crown, and then it just enters through the crown and through the head, and then it goes all the way down to the feet. And it's like this energy and this like brushes removing emotional and physical pain. So of course we can do a very general healing vortex, or if you have a client, you can do a very personalized healing vortex as well, focusing on the things that client needs to remove emotionally and physically. And of course, the idea is, and once it just goes through the body, it will just allow them to be realigned, to be repaired, to feel very different, because all those blockages were just drawn away.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you, Michelle. So we've taken you all the way around the circle. It was a bit of a whistle-stop tour around the circle, but I think I'm reading some of the comments and I can see that people are really, you're really engaging with it, and you're really getting to have a good overview of what the session entails. So we are going to move soon into doing our amazing gratitude meditation for you that we've prepared. We know it's Thanksgiving week for you over the other side of the pond, and we don't celebrate that over here, but I know in America I was a student for a semester over there when it was Thanksgiving, and I loved it. It's such a really beautiful, special celebration. So we want to do this for you. Skip, do you want to say anything at this point, or shall I lead straight in?
I'm just so excited. For everyone that just went through that whole tools experience, just type in the chat. Was that really helpful for you to see Michelle go through a couple of those tools for them to demonstrate it just in a micro session of what it might be like in the middle of it? Yeah, super helpful, everybody. And also, did you guys think it was amazing that you really saw Michelle like not faking it? Like it wasn't like a role play. Like she really got into it and really participated, so you could see how emotional something like that can get. Yeah, and I see people saying it was very healing to watch that. It was really amazing. Do you think that an exercise like that would help you in the chat? Do you think like if you were to go through something like that, it would help you? And then my final question is, do you think you could help other people using exercises like that? Do you think it would be powerful for anyone that you know in your family, maybe close friends, like if they would agree to something like that, could you help them? You know, it's one thing to recommend like another therapist or someone to see, which they may or may never do. But what would it be like for you to be that person and you to be the one that can help them on that journey? Sometimes it's actually tougher if you're related to them or you know them really well, but sometimes it's a lot easier and you have more context and even more empathy. So it's really beautiful. But yeah, I just thought that was wonderful, Michelle, Sarah, and Kat. So thank you. And I'm really excited about this experience.
Thank you. Yeah, lots of yeses there, and lots of wonderfuls, lots of amazing. People would love to do that, and you can. And the training makes it so simple because we just break it all down step by step. And I know it looks a lot, and we've talked about lots of tools, but the way the learning is structured is so methodical and so systematic. It really takes you through, and we just enable you. We set you up for success, like we do our clients. We set all the students up for success because we really want to make sure everybody gets through the course and do it really well and go out and start to change lives. And that's what people do, and it's an incredible job to be able to do that. All right, so I am going to move now into the guided meditation part of the session. So we don't normally do a guided meditation quite in this way. It's a bit like a mini transformation, but a little bit different as well. So before I begin, if you want to make the most of this, I would make sure that you are just in a nice, quiet, and comfortable space where you won't be disturbed for the next few minutes. Get yourself comfortable, and you might like to sit down or lie down in a lovely, relaxed position. And you might just want to raise your eyes a little bit as if you're trying to look at a spot overhead. And just take a nice breath in and out, and just keeping those eyes fixed right up. Take another lovely breath in and out, and one final time, taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, you can just close your eyes down now, all the way down, and you can just feel the muscles around your eyes feeling nice and relaxed, heavy, droopy, drowsy, and just let the muscles in your cheeks and your face relax. Just feel now the support of the chair, or if you're lying on the floor underneath you, and allow your body just to sink into it a little. Take another deep breath in, allowing the air to fill your lungs completely, and breathe out. And as you exhale, you can have a sense of releasing anything that doesn't serve you right now. Once again, breathing in and breathing out. And with each and every exhale, you're letting go. You're letting go of any tension in your body, of any fear, stress, any expectations. You're just letting go. And it feels so good to let go now. And you can see, you can visualize any tension, any fear, just leaving your body as you simply and easily just let them go. leaving your body in whichever manner is right for you. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to have any concerns or judgments. You can just allow this to happen, leaving your body like a puff of smoke or a cloud, or just melting, evaporating, drifting away. Feel the exchange of energy with the universe as you breathe in positivity and release anything that no longer serves you. And because you're letting go, you're creating a new space, more space, fresh space in your body and your mind for each and every breath that you're inhaling, which is really this life energy force in the form of breath. And now this breath has so much more space to flow around your body and to nourish your body, your cells, your tissues, your organs. It's refreshing, it's revitalizing, it's realigning your cells within your body. Take a moment to let that process happen and to express gratitude for your body's resilience, strength, and the ability to experience the world through your senses. Just acknowledge the incredible vessel that is your body that carries you through life's journey. And now, as you focus back on your breathing, of letting go the old and allowing in the new, you're becoming more and more relaxed, at peace, and connected to yourself, connected to your beautiful body, your powerful mind, your entire psyche, and everything is in the right place at the right time. There's nothing that's expected of you. You just are. And you are perfect the way you are. You're safe, releasing any thoughts about the past or the future, and just fully immersing yourself in this present moment. You are in the right place at the right time. The universe wants you to be here and is supporting you now and always. And as you're becoming more and more relaxed and are drifting deeper into your own inner awareness, you're becoming more and more connected to yourself, your body, your mind, your whole being. You're becoming more and more connected to your heart. And right now you focus on your heart, maybe even putting one hand on your heart, and allow yourself to take a few moments just focusing on your heartbeat. Feel its constant, steady rhythm that supports you each day. Feel the gentle rise and fall with each breath. Imagine a radiant golden light expanding from your heart, filling you with warmth and gratitude. Take another deep breath as you start feeling the warmth of this light, and allow it to begin to radiate outwards. And the more you focus on it, the more you feel its beautiful, warm, life-giving energy. Allow this pleasant feeling of being connected to your heart to grow. And you can feel it and see how your heart is slowly opening up like a blooming flower, bit by bit, opening up and out. And the more it's opening, the more you can feel the warmth radiating in and from your heart. And now in your mind's eye, you can picture the faces of those that you love the most in your life. Maybe it's a person you love, or a pet, but it's someone that you give or receive love from. You can feel the sense of unconditional love for this precious presence in your life. Take another deep breath as you let this feeling grow. You might even have a sense of your chest, your heart space opening up, the front, the back, and the side expanding a little more to accommodate these feelings. And the more you allow this sense of love, the more your heart is opening up. And the more your heart is opening up, the more you feel this wonderful, unconditional love flowing, overflowing the boundaries of your heart and beginning to spread all around your body. You start to realize how much you appreciate those in your life, how you appreciate them being in your life, enriching your life, showing you a different perspective. Maybe sometimes challenging you, but oh, how sweet it is to have them in your life, and how grateful you are for them being part of your life. As you feel a sense of connection and gratitude, imagine sending them thoughts of love, of appreciation, strengthening the bonds that connect and sustain you. And just returning your attention back to your breath, gently and slowly, breathing in and breathing out. Now letting your mind take you on a new journey, this time to a serene place in nature that you love. Let your mind wander to that place, that beautiful place. Hear the rustle of leaves, the flow of the stream, or maybe the gentle waves of the ocean. Feel the soft breeze across your face and the fresh scent of air as you take it all in. Take a moment right now to appreciate the intricate beauty of nature, all the colors, the textures, the smells, the sound, the life and the abundance that is found here. Feel a sense of gratitude for the interconnectedness of all living things and for these wonderful gifts that the earth gives us to enjoy. And as you take another deep breath, you can envisage that with each inhalation you are drawing in not just air, but a wonderful, vibrant energy of gratitude for all the good things life brings you. It feels so good, so fulfilling, so energizing, and just intensify these feelings in your whole body. Tap into your senses and allow your senses to experience those feelings. Let them in, let them grow. Turn up the volume on those feelings so they're really strong. Turn them up 50%. Turn them up 100%. Let them fill you, making you feel so alive, so content, so much at peace with who you are, and so full of gratitude. And I invite you to repeat these affirmations either out loud or silently to yourself. I am so grateful for the gift of this moment. I attract positivity and joy into my life. My heart is open to receiving and giving thanks for the abundance that surrounds me. And so now, gently bring your awareness back into your body, back into the present moment. Start to feel that chair or floor beneath you again. Start to just bring a little movement back into your body. Maybe wiggle your toes, move your shoulders, your fingers, and allowing yourself to slowly reawaken. Take one final deep breath in and out. And when you're ready, you can open up your eyes and take a moment to appreciate the calm, centered feeling that you've created. Remembering that you can carry the energy of gratitude with you into the rest of your day and beyond.
How was that, everybody? In the chat, how are you feeling? How are you feeling, Michelle?
Amazing. I loved it. I lost myself for a while, but I kept hearing Sarah all the time. Lovely.
Yeah, and the closest tool that that would probably relate to is the transformation. That might be a pretty realistic recording that Sarah or you might make for somebody at the end of a session, something to listen to on a daily basis. If gratitude was one of those things that you really wanted to focus on. Oh, look at all the wonderful comments too. People really appreciated that, Sarah. That was wonderful. That was really nice to experience. Um, so it
Right.
could be one of those things that someone actually uses. Katerina, did you experience it? How did that feel for you?
Yes, I did. I was just thinking, this is great job that I have. I come here for my guided meditations. Like, absolutely loved it. Yes, just opening the heart and connecting to my body and my heart. So yes, thank you.
And one other thing that I hear from students and like our audience all the time is they're really concerned that, if they have issues, could they be a therapist? Could they go through the process? Could they be a coach? And the answer is, and maybe Sarah, you could shine a little bit of light on this. Generally speaking, the more challenges you faced in life, the better you will be in serving clients and serving people.
Oh,
Because
definitely, yes. There's that wonderful saying, your mess is your message. And it's like if you've got no mess, you've got no message.
Love that.
And I know for a fact, once you've been through things deeply, you have that heart to want to use that for good for other people. And so all that experience really comes into play. So yeah, never discount yourself on the basis of having had gone through a lot. Yeah.
And for the people that are asking, they were driving or they couldn't tune in. This is all recorded, and this will be on the Marisa Peer YouTube channel under live streams. And if you're here, you'll get an email with the recording of it, so you can go and do this again and again and again, and listen to that incredible gratitude meditation. That I would say is the most similar to the transformation tool that we discussed. So, to summarize what we've worked on today, we really showed you several tools, Child in the Room, just a little sneak peek at that. And then we got into this gratitude meditation. We used one other tool. What was the other tool that we really quickly demonstrated? Was it That's Not Me?
No, it was the praise you always
Praise.
wanted.
The praise you always wanted. Another beautiful one.
Yeah.
So we demonstrated a couple micro tools and then got this incredible transformation style gratitude hypnosis experience from Sarah. And we learned all of the different 16 tools that we teach in the RTT school in the program. So, my question for everyone here is, do you think if you listened to something like this that was customized for you for 21 days in a row, that your life would change, that you would experience transformation? Just in the chat. Do you think that this would be beneficial for you to listen to something like this, especially if it was customized to you? Do you know anyone in your life that would benefit if you were to build a customized version of this for them? Do you know anybody? A lot of yeses, definitely. Yeah, absolutely they would. Absolutely. Oh, Alicia says she doesn't have a calming voice, so maybe you could get everyone really enthusiastic and excited. Maybe that's more your style.
Oh, do you know what?
Now,
Also, though, a lot of students say that oh, I don't have the right voice, but everybody develops their own style. Quite a lot of people have a bit of an issue with the sound of their voice, and they don't like it at first. But once they've done this over and over and over again, I tell you, you will have the most beautiful voice.
yeah, it definitely gets better with practice. And do you think, what was everyone's favorite tool? So in the chat, of the 16 tools, what was your favorite one or the most interesting to you
I
of
can't wait to
all the
see.
16?
I
What
want to
was that,
hear.
Sarah?
I can't wait to see what they're going to say, actually. I'm intrigued to know which is their favorite tool. Child in the room.
Ooh, the vortex. Hmm.
Praise. Left hand, right hand. Child in the room is coming up a lot.
Yeah, because it was demonstrated, so the balance, wasn't very fair. That's what I'm saying.
And it's interesting because I think every time I explain something to students, I say, this is crucial. This is my favorite, but I say it for everything. And then I realize, yeah, I love everything, every part of the session.
And me too. Oh, Anna
So,
said combination of all of that. That's good,
All
yeah.
of that. Yeah.
yeah, I have a bias here. I think, and this is something I can talk about till the cows come home, which is I think the intake is the most powerful one that I love so much. I think figuring out what people, and this is my bias towards, I went through our rapid transformational coaching program, and I think finding out what people actually want to work on is a really beautiful thing, which certain tools will reveal without conversation, which is also amazing. So, one more question for everybody here. Do you think your life would be better? And it's totally okay to say no to this. So no pressure. You don't have to please me with this answer. I'm just curious how many people on this Zoom right now and on YouTube joining us, which by the way, the comments over on YouTube have been amazing. Um, which there's some funny ones that I won't bring up now, but on the people on YouTube, you know what I'm talking about. Um, how many of you feel like you would have a very fulfilling life if you had these skills and knew how to use these tools professionally? Whether you wanted to do it full time, part time, or just for your friends and family, or maybe just your own personal transformation, really deeply learning how to use these tools. A lot of people. Okay, so right now it's 100%. Is there anyone that's a no that you don't think your life would be better or more fulfilling? I'm just curious of who came on the Zoom. Wow. Okay. So 100% of you. Well, that's amazing. That's awesome. Well, I really want to figure out how we can help you get there and how we can help you do that. So the way that we do it right now is we have two programs that teach these tools. We've got one program that's called the Certificate in Applied Hypnotherapy, and we've got another one that's actually the Rapid Transformational Therapy education. And that's where Sarah, Kat, and Michelle are always spending their time. They actually have a tutoring session right after this that they're going to be going into. So I know time is of the essence for them. So our main flagship program and the reason we exist as a company is to teach people to become rapid transformational therapists, to really use, understand, embody these tools and go out into the world. Again, whether it's for personal transformation, for friends and family, or for doing it part-time or full-time. And those are kind of the four ways that people really experience this. And believe it or not, I think 50% of people that go through the program do it for personal transformation. And maybe occasionally they see a client or two, but obviously learning how to do this is just a really incredible thing that is a really great opposite of a party trick. It's like a one-on-one thing that you can pull out and help friends, family, or yourself. Marissa says that she owes everything in her life to hypnosis because she knows these techniques so deeply that she uses them on herself constantly to fall asleep on airplanes instantly, in cars. And believe me, I've seen it. It takes 5 seconds for her to go to sleep, no matter what it is. Um, and so RTT is learning the 16 tools that we just described. And for most people, it takes somewhere between 6 and 10 months to learn how to do that. With that, we have 5 virtual classroom programs that people go through. Each one of those virtual classrooms is a 4-hour virtual classroom. Now, everyone, no matter what option you choose, goes through the virtual classroom experience. It's really wonderful. On the first one, it's very much just focused on client intake, and I can let Sarah describe them in more detail as we get into the Q&A, but I'll just kind of do an overview here. But Sarah, if you didn't know, so gracious, is the head of curriculum and delivery for the entire RTT school, which is quite a mega position because she manages about 1,500 to 2,000 students at any given point in time that are going through the education. So a lot of incredible people just like you that are learning from all walks of life, from all over the world. I believe we've got therapists and graduates in around 80 countries in the world. So it's an incredible global mission at this point that you'd be joining if you decide to go into one of these 2 programs. So the second program is the Certificate in Applied Hypnotherapy, and we call that our structured speed sort of junior program to RTT, where you learn how to do hypnotherapy. You can do it professionally if you want to. It's a much faster course. Most people finish between 3 and 6 months, and it's at a lower price point, so you can get started. If you do that program, you can actually graduate into going into the RTT program, and you only pay the difference between the programs. So it's a really wonderful way to get started if the cost is something that is really challenging for you. However, the Certificate in Applied Hypnotherapy, our junior program, is very incredible all on its own as well. So to kind of show you the difference between these, the Certificate in Applied Hypnotherapy is a $4,000 program. We do our own payment plans. It's incredible in its own right. You have at least 4 different classrooms that you'll experience. And then our RTT program is a $10,000 program. Again, we do all of our own payment plans. There's a lot that goes into this. It is a longer program, but you learn how to very competently use all 16 of these tools, and you get lots of different things. So I'll pass it off to Sarah to answer some questions about the program in its entirety, but you've got the 5 virtual classrooms and a lot of other things. Sarah, do you want to describe the program a little bit more?
Yeah, I will. I just need to make a little correction because we've got 4 virtual classrooms, but they're 4 really good virtual classrooms. So the first one is all about building communication skills, as Skip said, and learning how to do the intake. That takes quite a long time to really master that and be really confident in that. Then we teach you about taking someone into hypnosis, and then virtual classroom 3 focuses very much on the transformation. And then we've got one that's all just about RFPI and different ways to use RFPI as a tool. We've also got 4 tutor groups that sit alongside the virtual classroom. Well, they slot in at different points. So that's when we cover the detective work, some of the interrupt tools, and then we give you chance just as you're getting ready to finish off. You can bring a case study from one of your sessions and talk about it in the tutor group in a lovely small group, get lots of input and feedback on what you've been doing to build your confidence and be ready to get out there. There's we set up what we call reflective practice sessions. So these are sessions where you get linked into another student and you can get together and you do a practice session on each other. So we're building in practice time all the way through. So there's the learning component, there's the practice component, and those 2 things sit very much hand in hand so that you can practice at a rate that's ready for you. A little bit by bit, dip your toe in the water, learn the induction, do a bit more, learn how to do a bit of detective work, and then you're building up so that you gradually can then take on board a whole session.
And for all the really specific questions, so like Colette, I just responded to what currency is the fee in? It depends on your country. You can get all those questions answered. So like Marianne asked, But we're going to cover that question next, actually. But Lauren asked, is there a link to describe the two different programs? If you book a call with the team, they can answer all your questions. There's no commitment to do anything on that call, but they can get all of your questions answered about the two different programs to make sure it's really clear for you. So it's a one-on-one conversation and you can talk to someone.
And just a couple of words about the difference between the two programs. With the Cert App HIP program, you're still learning. It's a program in its own right, so it's a method. It has some links with the RTT method, but it still sits alone. So if you take that pathway, you're still going to be set up to see clients. You're still going to know how to do that. There's parts of the course that help you understand the safeguarding aspects, how to work ethically, so that you really have a good understanding and you're ready to go. What we do say about Setup HIP is it's generally used for what we would call lighter issues, but I don't want to make too light of that because it's still significant things for people. But we might be dealing with things like confidence, presentation skills. It might be a bit more like sports performance. We do a lot of work with, say, actors or musicians having a stage presence, speaking up. So those kind of issues we would be looking at with Set Up HIP. So there's a broad range of things that you can be working on with that program. But with RTT, because we've got this big toolkit, we're able to go a bit deeper into some of the more deep-rooted issues.
And I've seen a couple other comments in the chat as well. My estimate is that we would need about 250,000 RTT therapists globally to cover the demand. And almost all of our therapists, there are a couple exceptions, see people on Zoom. I've had a lot of physical in-person sessions, which is great, but most people actually prefer doing it on something like a Zoom call or even on audio because there's less needing to be perfect involved. There's less judgment involved, especially if you can't see the person. Um, so it's very different from person to person, and that's about what we need to really cover the globe as far as the demand for things. In addition to that, the school program. So I see here. Uh, I know I'm going to mispronounce your name. Maybe if I do, you can phonetically sound it out. But Fariha, asks like, why is the price different than it was a year ago or multiple years ago? And we're just always adding to it. We're always asking ourselves, how can we make this course better? How can we get our students to be more successful? And if you were able to sit down with Sarah and I over like a tea chat or a coffee chat, and we were to show you sort of the roadmap of different things we're always adding and improving and working on for the student experience, especially if you were to sit down with the extended leadership team. It's incredible. I mean, we are all very focused on creating the absolute best education in the world to help people become transformational experts. So there's a lot of things. Someone asked, do we train marketing our businesses? Absolutely. There is a lot of different things in development right now and a lot of things that already exist. So I just reformatted a 12-week ongoing business program that everyone gets when they sign up for RTT. For the Cert HIP program, for the certificate, you don't get this business side of the program. When you sign up for RTT, you do get this business side of the program. And so it's this ongoing 12-week calendar where it's a group session where you'll go in with different business experts and they'll explain things. And then we also have open Q&A drop-ins for once you get to a certain point in the course and you're starting to build your business, you get that support to be able to go and get those questions answered. And I do every other week for all students and graduates for all time can jump on a Zoom link and they can come on, bring people up one at a time and work on their business with them. Sarah, do you want to take that one? It's can you explain the difference between the certificate practice and the RTT practice?
So with this app hip practice, we have the way that the course is formatted is we have four what we call development group sessions. They're like the VCs, they're a little bit shorter, but there's four of those that you go through with the tutors. You work in relatively small groups, so you still get one-on-one time, you still learn the technique, you still get demos in the technique like we were doing today, and you get a chance to practice. And then there's an assessed piece same as RTT. So for both courses, you do an assessment. With RTT, you would do that live with one of the assessment team, live online, I would say. And then with SUTAP HIP, we're going to a video format. So you send in a video. And for both of those courses, there's a written assessment as well. So quite a lot of similarities and then some differences as well.
I've got some incredible questions here. I know we have to jump off in just a minute, so if you want to book your call, make sure to do that now. I know there's not a ton of availability for those calls, so hopefully you can get the time that is good for you. And if you can't, you can always type in the chat, and we'll see if we can. If you can't find a time, ask us in the chat, and we'll reach out personally and see if we can make that work for you. How many practice sessions in RTT? Ooh. Uh,
How many practice sessions? Well, as many as you can fit in is the answer to that. We in the reflective practice, there's a minimum requirement of doing 6, which was really the basic number. But you get lots of other chances to practice. We've just recently set up practice circles for RTT. So myself and the team, we come on. It's another chance for you to get feedback. That's working really well as a format, and the students are just loving having that extra chance for practice. But the RTT community is so great, all the communities are, that the students really build their own networks as well and connect with each other. So you might buddy up with somebody to study together or have an accountability partner to help keep yourselves on track. You might just fix up informal practices. So it's just really, everybody loves RTT. They just live and eat and breathe it. So they want to do more and more practice all the time.
We've got time for just 2 more questions, but I'm going to cover one of them right now. And this is something I haven't mentioned yet. So everyone who does RTT does the virtual classroom option, the live online option, if you will. And that's the full coursework with the virtual classrooms, with the tutoring sessions, what we've mentioned here in RTT. There's also the option to upgrade to a live in-person experience. So you will still do the virtual classroom, the whole program as normal, but then you can go to a 5-day live in-person experience where Marisa will do live sessions in front of the entire audience and then open it up for Q&A. In addition to, you'll be working with our RTT trainers who are incredible all around the world. There's less than 20 of them, and we have 1 trainer per how many students, Sarah?
It varies. It depends on but they normally put them in threes, and so a trainer would work between the little triads and oversee certain groups. Yeah.
Yep. And you get to really practice these experiences day in and day out for 5 days. It's really incredible. I just got to go to my first one in Rushton this year in September, and it's a very deep experience. Many people were actually yelling at me in excitement of how amazing the experience was for them. And in the testimonials like I see afterwards, there were many people that quoted things, and I'll quote one of them. She said, "This is one of the memories that she would remember on her deathbed." That's how powerful and impactful the 5-day experience was. So that's something that you can add on to the live online training.
It really
If
is.
you do it live,
It, it really is. Sorry, I'm just going to butt in because I got excited listening to you say that, Skip, because it really is transformational. And Kat and I were actually on the same live training event. So we met all those years ago now doing that. So, and we've ended up here. So you never know where it's going to take you.
I think we'll take one more question for everybody. Let's see. Oh, here we go. What is the difference between RTT and NLP? I'm gonna pass that one to you.
I'm not sure I've got long enough to answer that question. NLP is very much a neuro-linguistic technique. That it's similar in the fact that there's processes that are learned, so it's a structured kind of process as well. But it's not really engaging the subconscious mind and doing all that root cause work. It certainly has its uses. I don't want to really make a huge comparison between the two, but we do use elements of NLP within RTT as well, actually. That's the beauty of RTT, because it draws on some of those NLP techniques. It also draws on a few CBT techniques and puts them all together in this most wonderful and unique package.
Yeah. Lots of great questions in the chat. We don't have time to answer them all right now. If you do book that call with someone on the team, you can get all those questions answered I just want to review a couple things before we leave. Number one, we have a 14-day money back guarantee. If you decide to book a call with one of our team, and if you decide to sign up, you've got 14 days to get into the program, to get into the back office, to get into the communities, to start to engage with people, to see all of the incredible things that are included. Because it's such a robust program that it would be impossible to describe it in a short enough period of time for something like a webinar like this right now. But trust me, and saying that we're just constantly evolving it and have built the best and are going to continue to make it even better program for becoming a transformational specialist in the world. So if you're someone that really wants to profoundly shift your own life and you would love to be able to shift friends and family, if you'd love to be able to do this part-time in addition to your dream career so that you can do a little bit of this and a little bit of that and have this fulfillment, or if you'd love to do this full time, there's not many people that are truly committed to transformational career as a full time. But if that's you, this is absolutely the program for you because we've got all the business support in addition to the education of how to utilize these 16 tools and how to take that into a client experience. And I know Sarah is like shaking in excitement to tell you about other updates that are coming, but we have to wait for that and we'll get there soon. Hopefully in the new year, we can tell you about lots of new things that are coming. Um, Lots of questions I want to answer, but I don't have time for. So just remember, you've got your 14 days to really make sure it's for you, even if you do sign up once you talk to someone on our team. If you want to be a transformational career expert in the world, you want to help people, this is absolutely the thing for you. If you're on this webinar right now, if you had an incredible experience learning about the tools, you know who you are, you know you're the person that's meant to be doing this in the world. At least have a conversation, at least book a call with the team and see if that's for you. I know from our community and from all the graduates that I get to talk to on a regular basis, they were all so scared to do this. They thought that they weren't going to be good enough. They thought it was going to be complicated. It ended up being simple. They ended up being amazing. They ended up realizing that all of their own childhood challenges and lifetime challenges made them an even better RTT therapist for the world or an RTC coach for the world. If you're the type of person that really cares about others and wants to help people, this is going to give you a concrete, competent, confident skill set to go out into the world and truly help people time and time again. And like I said before, one of our biggest problems is that it's so effective that we have to find ways to continuously enhance the business of our practitioners because it does work so well. So really excited to join you in the school. Hope to see you all soon, maybe at a live program in either Dubai, Los Angeles, England, or Amsterdam in the coming year, with some new announcements coming in the new year of other locations that we're going to be bringing the live to. If not, I hope to see you in a virtual classroom or at your graduation experience soon. I know you'll get to meet Kat, Michelle, and Sarah even more often when you join up for the virtual classroom. So thank you, Kat, Michelle, Sarah, for coming on here. I know this is a big time commitment for all of you. And thank you to the audience for being so amazing. I've been reading all your comments and I wish I could answer more questions personally, but book a call with the team, let them know that we sent you, and they'll get all your questions answered. And I hope to see you in the school very soon.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye.